Okay, how's everybody doing? How are you guys? Making it?
Yeah.
Semester going okay? Everyone's good from last week or 2 weeks ago or whatever I think it was? Got power, water, all that good stuff. Okay, so if you guys don't remember or whatever, but pull up your projects of what you guys want to do, and that's what we're going to talk about today. And work through a little bit, and then I'm going to show you guys a couple strategies of what we're going to do moving forward, and then what we'll start doing towards making this your guys' final project. So what do you guys come up with? What do you think you want to do?
I said I know I probably can't do it, but I was thinking that if we're able to, we should try to create an app, maybe.
An app?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I know it's harder, but I just thought, I
Okay.
was thinking it could be beneficial because as someone that doesn't regularly come into Purple, I have no idea when events and stuff is happening.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I feel like for new students, having something like that
Okay.
would be beneficial.
So you're talking just for ag?
Yeah, for like
Just for the school? Okay. What we'll probably do is I would have you actually come up with what it would be. You don't necessarily have to create it. If you do it, great. There's actually websites out there that will help you come up with an app that are free and relatively easy. So we can work through that.
Okay.
Do you use the SAM one at all?
Yeah, but I also use the Rec Center one, and
Okay.
they like send you notifications and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I thought that would probably help with things.
Okay. All right. Cool. I like it. Okay. Yeah. So again, you may not actually have to build it, but I might have you do like a prototype because there are free websites that'll help you do it. Cool. Okay. What else? What do we got?
I thought it too. I thought like the ag newsletter with the clubs and ag.
Okay, cool.
Get it together or make a video for the ag building and like.
Okay. Travis, right?
Yes, sir.
A video for what? What would the video be?
The students in agriculture, like what we do, classes we take. Cause like on ACOM's website, each
Okay.
program had a video
Yeah.
under the thing, and I thought that was really cool.
It's kind of catchy, right? It's
And I
easy,
was like,
something to
it's
watch.
better than reading a whole paragraph.
Who's gonna read anything on it?
No, but
Yeah.
if you had like a 30-second video or something,
Yeah.
and it showed off like what's going here, then I think that would be a good idea.
Yeah, and it's short and sweet, right? It's not hard. You don't have to make it super complicated. If you ever watch a football game, there's always a commercial for the university. They're all the same, right? Like there's always somebody in a lab, right? There's always like a ballet dancer. Like they're trying to pack everything a university does into a 30-second commercial, which is fine. That's okay. Some get more creative, and I think those are more effective. But yeah, I think if you're only trying to highlight a school or a department, it's a lot easier to capture a little more of it. So, okay, cool. Does that feel like something you feel like you can create?
Yes, but
Oh.
in an app, I think.
Okay, cool, awesome.
So I kind of had like two things. So one I've already done would be, so for CFFA, we made hats for the School of Agriculture with a new name on them.
Oh, okay.
We already have the cloth pack produced. We're waiting on the mesh pack, but
Okay.
it should be coming out soon. But then I was thinking about a video highlighting like what programs we have and what you can go do with those programs, because I know most people don't know what careers you can get with a ACOM degree.
Sure.
And then highlighting alumni that have gone and what they've done with their degree.
Awesome.
And just a little short video.
Yeah.
Real quick, short and sweet.
Okay, cool. For you guys that came in, we're just talking about what you guys are thinking you want to do for the final project. And I'll go through them all either today or tomorrow and approve them, but it sounds like you guys are absolutely on the right
Yeah,
track.
no, if you want a hat, I think they're gonna be 15 or 20 bucks.
Okay.
Should be coming out pretty soon.
I'm assuming all the students want mesh.
Org was completely convinced that only people will want cloth.
Heck no.
He's all man.
Exactly.
Yeah,
We're like-
sorry, Dr.
he
Ulrich,
said-
it's on video now. Yeah.
I fought back and forth with him for forever on this, and he was convinced that
All-
college kids want cloth back hats.
No way.
Yes, not mesh back.
No.
That's what he wants those.
Like this, but
Yes.
where they're floppy, for women hats?
That's what he was just completely.
Right, that's exactly, that's like the hats he wears, I'm assuming.
Yes. And so we were like, no, and so we convinced him we could get both.
Yeah, there you go.
And so, but that was the whole fight.
I was gonna figure out that the mesh back is gonna sell more than the.
Yeah, exactly.
No, the only people that are gonna buy that cloth back are the alumni.
Yeah, exactly, yeah, especially if it's a smaller one. Remind me your name?
Oh, integrated
just so you know, what we're talking about is the project you guys wanna do. So, okay. Caroline, what do you got?
So I looked into like Kansas State University and like their ag stuff. And what on their like website, they showed, like all of their degrees.
Yeah.
Certs you can get, everything, okay. Well, you click on it and they have a video and it would pertain to that major or that cert.
Okay.
Showing all of their equipment they use, what you can do with it,
Mm.
blah, blah. Just a more focused review of it, so I was saying that we could use it, to put on our website and also, like, they would put it on Facebook.
Okay. Alright. And so what do you want to do like the
It's
whole,
like videos for the majors and like.
so per major you want to do video? Okay.
Choose.
That's probably a good one. I would just pick one for,
Honestly, like,
yeah.
eventually, like, I feel like that would be beneficial.
Sure. Yeah, because I mean, what are you doing if you're a prospective student? You're jumping online, right? And you're clicking as much as you can. And, and what do we think of the current SAM website when you do that?
The news tab hasn't been updated since 2017.
For the videos that are shown of the major are from 2014.
Yeah, so oftentimes what happens, it's a matter of time and money, and they'll do it, and they go, oh, we're good, and then like 3 years
Well, I
goes
know,
by.
isn't it like a pain to go in there and update it? Because I think you have to like get approval or something. and-
Yeah, that's part of it, and that's why we'll work through it, but that's why I want you guys, I mean, if we could create something, and so just maybe pick one for your project for the semester, but do one, and then we'll use it as a template, or at least show them what it could be. So yeah, I think that's a good idea, so, cool. Anna?
My idea was to, agricultural leadership and development major.
Okay,
And it has that, and that's where I applied to begin with, which, that's a different story, but that was really what I wanted to major in.
Uh-huh.
So we did not for that.
so you wanna add a whole major? That's gonna be pretty hard. What we may need to do is tweak that a little bit, to,
Maybe not a major, but like certain programs have to do with agricultural leadership, just because
Sure.
of the background, like agriculture, I feel like leadership is such a big deal.
yeah, it is. It's also, I teach it at A&M in the core, but leadership is hard to define. It's not hard to define. It's hard to teach. So, but if we're targeting it, I mean, that's what my PhD is from that department, so that's what it's in. So that's a whole other can of worms of what we can open up in that discussion. But what you may look at more is like the interdisciplinary of how to create that. So it may not actually be a whole new major because that's hard and jump through hoops. It's not impossible. But we might be able to say, okay, what classes can we take, assemble, and put together that students can choose to take on their own that essentially makes up that major. I don't know the ins and outs of that though. For the purposes of this class, though, we may need to tweak that a little bit of how we want to make that a project the school can use. But we'll talk about it. Okay. Logan, what do you got?
I'm gonna be really honest, I forgot to turn in an assignment. I'm really mad at myself right now.
Okay.
But I did, I looked up LSU
Uh-huh.
and I saw that one of their main points were their diversity in
Okay.
their agriculture program.
Uh-huh.
So I haven't really looked too much into Sam Houston's, but I want to find like our main strong point and make a educational video of that.
Okay, cool. I like
I'm
it.
trying to figure out like what our strong point is here.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, what I've seen here is this is a pretty diverse school in terms of the student makeup, because you got folks from Houston with limited ag background but interested in ag, right? So wanting to get into it, and then people that completely grew up farm and ranch, right? So to me, and just what I've seen in the different classes I teach, it's a pretty diverse department to be at a school, if I'm being honest. But a lot of times you guys don't necessarily know that because you're only in your major, right? So you know the people in your classes and your major and stuff like that, and you don't necessarily, like if you're ACOM, maybe you don't have a lot of classes with business, right? Or animal science or whatever, you don't cross over. But yeah, I think that's definitely something that could be highlighted here is probably a real strength. So, Cool, okay. Travis, what do you got?
I wrote about, like, we're talking about final projects, right?
Yeah, what do you think you wanna do?
I wasn't really sure about this because, like you said, I was not too developed in ag and all that, just kind of recently got into it.
Okay,
But I wrote about maybe getting together in groups and kind of like what she was saying over there, come up with like videos or ideas that, just like the students come up with, so like kids our age would like, and
Yeah.
just kind of find the main points and strong points of the school and
okay.
just come up with a video or some kind of advertisement or something that will grab the attention of kids our age.
Okay, what I think might be great for you to focus on is to tell the same story that you are. So is to take the kids that don't have an ag background or maybe interested and then say, hey, you know, you didn't have to grow up doing FFA and 4-H to major in ag, and then here's the career fields that you can go into. Like you guys were touching on kind of what you can do with your degree. But I think that would be a strong selling point. Again, if you're looking at Conroe and Houston and where Sam draws from, for the major metro area, I think that would be solid. So you might focus yours on kind of the non-ag background and do that. Okay, cool. All right. Kyle?
I was thinking about developing a new, maybe like poster advertisement for the school bag.
Okay.
And sending out to high schools in Texas that have an agriculture program.
Awesome.
That's the only reason I learned about STEM, because I'm from Fort Worth area.
Okay, yeah. Is it foreigner? You're way up.
Yeah, I'm foreigner from there. And we had two things. We had Seatonville, that's our Rolton poster,
Yep,
and
yep,
St. Easton
yep.
poster. That's the first time I ever heard of St. Easton.
Really?
And I looked into it, came here, and I was like, all right, I'll go.
Yeah, because as Anna was saying, look, not everybody. I've met students here who started at A&M and transferred. It's a big ass school. It's not for everybody. What's that?
That's why I didn't go to
Yeah, that's why I didn't go either.
Yeah, look, there's pros and cons, all right. And I don't want to bag on that. I would teach there too, so I can't bag on it too bad, especially if I put it on YouTube. It's definitely not for everybody. But a lot of you guys, there's so many schools here. I don't know if you guys have ever looked up how many universities are in Texas alone. There are actually like hundreds. Okay, there's real small schools and whether they survive COVID and all that stuff. It'll be interesting to see. But if you're thinking about ag, you might look at Tarleton, SFA or even Texas State, whatever. Is it not San Angelo State? Small school, great little ag department. I've been there. They've got a great facilities. They're just very small, right? So if you're from there, you might go there. But if you don't know about it, right? If you're from a different area, you've never heard of it. And I know there's students here from the Panhandle and West Texas and all that stuff. So it's a matter of getting the story out and pulling them in and finding the right university that fits you guys. And that's, I think, what we can do is show them the opportunity. Okay, so I want to give you guys a couple tools. I think you guys are all on the right track. I think we got to work through Anna's. Not that I don't like your idea, but I think for the purpose of this class, I'm not sure it'll fit. But it doesn't mean you can't go to Dr. Ulrich and tell him, hey, let's start a new major. Because the one thing that I will tell you that's really refreshing at SAM compared to larger schools, unnamed in College Station, is how easy it is for you guys, who most of you guys know Dr. Ulrich, right? To literally go up to him and say, hey, can we do this, right? And what's he say? He's like, well, okay, let's see if we can.
You know, he's sometimes stubborn about it.
Of course he is, yeah, and it's a hard,
Real stubborn.
yeah, and it's a hard spot, right? Because you got to balance the budget and everything like that. And we were worried, big picture, right? So like if COVID had hit hard enough to where enrollment had dropped here like 4 or 5%, I mean, you're talking, that's pretty devastating to say. You're talking probably cutting programs, right? Fortunately, we were actually up a little in the spring. A lot of community colleges in Texas in the summer were offering free courses to try to literally pull you guys in and keep you. So they were really worried about that here. At the fall, enrollment was down, but just a little bit. It's like 1%. So they're doing okay, but we've got a new president and everything, so hopefully things are moving in the right direction. But it's really refreshing here how easy it is to try and navigate that stuff versus a larger school, even at Kansas State, LSU's massive. You gotta jump through a lot of hoops. There's a bunch of associate deans, right, in addition to your deans and all that stuff. So it can be a lot harder to actually get that stuff through. So that's what kind of makes this fun. And I hope this proves useful. One, for you guys, it should be kind of fun and engaging. Two, the school needs it. We need some updating. We need some new things, and they need to be able to pull in students. And you guys are the hats are a prime example, okay, of being able to connect with younger people and get them here, right, versus old folks like us, okay. So a couple things we're gonna do as we work on this project, and again, I'll go through them all. I think you guys are on the right track. I like your ideas. But we need to come up with the proof of why we need it, okay? I think it's pretty easy to justify updating, but let's find some actual research that supports what you guys are talking about. So a couple quick ways we're gonna do that, and this will be part of your final project, and we'll get into it. But the most important thing is the hardest thing that students, in my opinion, I teach, I don't know if anybody's had me, it used to be online, now we're in person a little bit, but ACOM 3360, anybody take that? Okay. Okay, a lot of people have to take it or whatever and all that stuff. And multiple other classes. What you guys tend to do is spout your opinion, and that doesn't make it true. Even if you have a strong background and you know what you're talking about, all right? If you grew up on a farmer ranch and you know all about it, okay, that's great, but you have to prove it. So one thing we want to do, if you're going to claim, okay, we should start, and I'll use Annis as an example, we need an ag leadership program. Let's go prove why. So we need to find some data and some research that says, hey, schools that have this department get this many students, here's the benefit, they major in this, we have to go prove it. Okay, so even if it's something as simple as a video and everything, we want to go find some facts behind it and make it true, okay, to support it, right? So it's relatively easy. Again, most people don't like to cite. You just get nervous about APA and MLA and whether you do it right. Mostly what I care about is just you went and found the research. Okay, I'm not gonna get hung up on how you cited it for this class, just that you went out and found some research. The other issue with research is you need to find actual unbiased research, not a news article. A news article may take a study that was done and then they kind of put their spin on it, right? Or they take a line or two out of a whole study and say, here's the result. So when they do that, if you're looking for something, go find the actual study and see what it says. Don't take someone else's opinion for it. Sound good? Tracking what I'm getting at here? So this is a super easy way to do it. Has anybody not been on Sam's library website? Okay, cool. It's not surprising, right? It's actually great. You go to Google, SHSU Library, boom, there it is. And you can click on this research deal over here, but I don't get that specific. You can put in right here, let's look up. Okay, so we just look up social media agriculture. All right, boom, we've got a bunch of stuff, and here's some of the cool things we can do. Sometimes when you go to this stuff, and I'll show you Google Scholar in a minute, it's similar, it's really easy. Sometimes when you go to this stuff, it'll have a link and it'll only give you like the abstract. And the abstracts are great because you can just read what it's about and it's a summary. So you don't have to go through the whole thing, and you just see if it's related to your topic, and you're like, boom, I've got a resource, and then go find some more. Sometimes when you click on that, though, that's all you get, and it will make you want to pay for it or sign up for something. You do not have to do that. You can click full text, and it will make sure that everything it shows you, you have access to, right? So it's not giving you a bunch of crap that you can't actually find, right? You can update the year, right? So if we're talking social media and ag, there's probably nothing before 2000, right? So you can narrow this down, or if you want to look at older data, right? Say you're hyper specific about something that happened in the 80s, right? You can find the research from that, okay? And then you can scroll down again, what makes it easy. Okay, again, we want to find things, for the most part, that's unbiased research. People are always biased, we went over that in this class, right? So the reason we want to find that is hopefully it's the most unbiased, right? It may still have a little, and it usually has results. But you can click on academic journals, right? And that will narrow it down to things that have been researched. If you look at news, you're probably going to get a lot more stuff that's going to have bias and articles and things like that. And that's okay, you can use them, just be aware of it, okay? Questions on that? It's pretty easy and straightforward. The other one to use is Google Scholar. It's very similar. Sometimes this one will have more things that it'll take you to that you have to pay for or log in or whatever. Don't use those if you don't want to. There's no reason to pay for these things. There's usually a million research articles on just about any topic. Okay? So don't get too caught up in that. Why would you use these versus just Google or Wikipedia? Your Wikipedia is crap. Please don't ever use it for these purposes. Okay, you might be able to find something on a subject to help you. Not a great source to cite or anything. Okay. Same thing with Google. It might take you to more news articles, things like that. So if you use Scholar, it's going to give you more like the research articles and stuff. Cool. Okay. So the point that we're going to work on is, I like you guys' topics. I like what you want to do, but we're going to have to actually find some research behind it to validate it, and tell us why it's useful. Now, we know this, again, sometimes things just need to be updated, but let's actually go find some research that says, hey, schools that do this are more likely to get better enrollment, or whatever we can find, okay? But let's go ahead and find stuff related to what you guys want to do to support your cause. Make sense? This is, has anybody done like their own research before? Undergraduate? Okay, good. Hopefully, if you've written a paper or whatever, great, same thing, right? But let's go actually find the information that makes it true. Okay? The other thing we'll get into, probably next week, as you guys start working on. So this week we'll start filtering out a little more of what you guys want to do. So I want you guys to make like an outline of what, if you're gonna do an app, if you're gonna do a video. I want you to start coming up with the body of what you want to do, right? And this will give us tools to give us a little more planning, so that as we move on, we have this awesome project at the end, and I'm really impressed, and you get full credit, right? So what we'll do this week is flesh it out a little more, like some of you guys need to, but go ahead and start making an outline of what you want to do, kind of the who, what, when, where, and why of your project, and then we'll start building on it, working on it. And then in another week or two, I will show you guys, because believe it or not, we're hurtling through the semester, and we've got spring break in a couple of weeks. I'm sure everybody's sad. They won't get to see me. So we'll also start kind of looking at some things of like how to make it better, and maybe how to question our own projects. And like, what are we missing? What are we not seeing? All that good stuff. Sound good? Okay. Since we had nobody here today, thank you guys for coming. Please try to be here as we work through this. We only meet once a week. So I will see you guys next week, and I'll get the assignment posted today. Good?